Um, I just realized how they try to counter reality as they try to pin me in these ways. It's crazy that I'm being forced to experience things. I was listening to my last testimony. I was talking about how these mass shootings that target individual are involved in, some of that have impacted children. They've killed children because once this target individual who lose their mind decide to do these things, these victims become children because they shoot the whole place, and in those places there's children. For example, and I don't know if, and I'm saying that before knowing that if this mass shooting in Maine was coming from a target individual, but a child died. He killed a lot of people, 18. That makes this one of the the largest number of victims in one mass shooting. And as I was listening to my testimonial, I said something about I wanted to say some of these victims are children, and as they made me say those people are some of those vixens are children, right? And they would try to then the reason why they made me say this thing like that is because of that. They are trying to drive me in a loop of insanity. That's what happens to us, target individual. The reason why I'm recording this is to give you an example of how when you're a target individual, they try to push you into insanity, and they have the ability to manipulate everything, reality, narrative, and push your brain to think in this illogical and make you feel doubtful and things that are very obvious. I've told before that because today what's happening is when I see a child, from the babies to the older kids, they force me to get reactions. So they look at where they can try to get you to believe this false reaction that you are having now because it's manipulated. And so they make me think, oh, you see that person that you thought that was like this and that, yeah, that shows a child. The person you were with, she's a child. Try to find anyways. And this, a lot of it is just stories they make themselves. One of the stories they've made a lot, they try to make me believe, is when I went to GNC, right? Where you get this protein shakes and all the vitamins and the things. Those places. I remember going there. That's the second time going there. The first time I go there, there's one guy there. He's about this, he's an older guy, about my age actually, like maybe a little bit younger than me, but not much, maybe my age. And at that point, I'm 31 years old. Then I go back there, and this time I see this girl, this mid-20ish person, and she doesn't look like any mid-20. She looks like, and I'm sorry to be graphic, not even graphic, sorry for talking in a way that is just, I don't want to make this person in this way, but that's the reality of the moment. She's like a tall 5'9"ish, 5'10"ish Hispanic, very curvaceous woman. I mean, the kind of that you think that works in environments where you are supposed to show your body. Very, very voluptuous. Looks like those like hip hop vixen models. I was like, whoa, this is not the norm here. This is like, that's when I was like, okay, this is just, she's out of place. She's out of place. This is not, somebody like that don't work here. You work in places where, and not to be judgmental, but it's like she's way, is just somebody like her. You can see her being like a bottle service person, that kind of, and I'm talking about like very on the voluptuous side, and very curvy and tall, really tall. I mean, like not that much shorter than me. And I was like, you are not. This is not the. You are not somebody who work here usually. It didn't. It felt like they put her there for a purpose. And at the time, they were doing things where I will see some very good looking woman. Like I'm no like, listen, I don't think I'm ugly, but I remember going to this place, to this art gallery, and I saw this woman just walking by me, and she was walking in this cat, and I was like, oh my goodness, she was walking in this like a model, and I could feel it's not like she was just the most beautiful woman, but it's like she has so much class, and just like she was so out of my league, and it's like, why would she want to be, why would she want my attention? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to look at her. I feel like, like, Jesus, what's going on here? And I remember when this woman passed, there was this guy who was looking, he was right behind her, just looking at me, right? This time it happens again, but now go to this GNC. She's not to that level of this woman, but she is definitely not somebody who I would imagine working here, right? And I'm talking to her, and behind her I see like some black guy with some dreadlocks just kind of looking at her, and kind of, looking her up and down, and I don't know what he's doing. In my mind, it's like, oh my gosh, I think those two are together. It felt like they were together. He told her to come here and involve her in this thing. It seemed like she was like, I don't want to say, but it felt like he was some kind of manager of some sort, right? It's obviously they're not related. This is definitely different race, different, not same people, not same. He's obviously a black guy, a black man. She's obviously a Hispanic woman, and look like they're perhaps have, maybe they know each other in different ways. Like I feel like maybe he was like her manager, but I was like, I couldn't believe it. It's like, whoa, and definitely I was like, oh my gosh, I was trying to compose myself, because that was like, I've never seen like, I've seen, but I'm just saying, like, I wasn't expecting to see this type of person in a GNC. That's somebody I would expect at a nightclub or at a place where at night, right? And so I couldn't believe this, right? And so they're trying to now make me imagine this person to be underage. I have no doubt this person is in her 20s. And the way I talked to her, she's like even the way she was interacting with me, you understand that she's like, yeah, you sound like, it was no doubt. She even talked like somebody in the mid-20s. The whole like aura, when some people can look older than their age, of course. But when you talk to them, when you interacted with them, you kind of like, oh, okay, never mind. You kind of, there's something about you. With her, it's like, for sure, you're like in your 20s, like mid-20ish. But because I reacted this way in real time because of the way she looks and her appearance, they're trying to make me believe that she's underage. And I have zero doubt, right? So this person that worked at GNC, they're trying to make me imagine her as an underage, because my reaction to this person was like somebody who would react to somebody who looked like that. Matter of fact, the employer that I know used to work there, he came by her, and I could see him just like kind of looking her up and down. It's like, whoa. He's like, wow. Like he was like, and I was like, yeah, this person was just brought here, and she doesn't fit this place because she looks like she's somebody who obviously could be working in like a bottle service kind of environment. And obviously, like, that's the kind of world she kind of looks like she works in, like in a world of where her looks are used, or she used her looks as part of her employment. Not to degrade her, but that's what you could feel. Like, by looking at you, you're probably like a bottle service type of person. You're somebody who, and they're trying to make me feel today. Make me believe that she's underage because they want to be like, you see, we mapped it. You see the way we make you feel toward these kids, that we mapped. That's because today what's happening when I see a child, when these children, from the teenagers to the babies, they force me to get reactions. And they're like, you see? And it's funny, like I'm looking at, and it's so nasty. And mind you, I'm 31 at the time. So I'm looking at people in the age of like 25 to 28. I'm looking at their pictures. I'm like, if I would have seen them like that, at any point, they could use that. They could create this doubt because they're trying to find what like validations. And this person was definitely a shocker for me. I was like, she looked like those vixen model, this hip hop vixen video girls that you see. That's what she looked like a 5'10", super voluptuous Hispanic woman. That's what that person looked like. And I was like, you don't work at GNC for sure. They got you from some kind of like, you're like a bartender or not even a bottle service kind of person. You just don't fit this place. And they're trying to make me believe this. I was like, I know, I know. And they try to make me think maybe she's like one of this, like, like super, like she look much older than her age, but she's like, this person for sure is in her 20s. Now, the reason why they're trying to make me subscriptive of this is because today they force me to get these disgusting stimulations. And they're trying to find anything they can use, whatever they can use, even manipulate and falsify in order to make me subscribe to what I'm experiencing today. And because these people are just foul human beings that even involve torturing, they involve themselves in the torture of children. And they do horrible things to the most vulnerable people. And these mass shootings and the horrible things that you hear about can be traced back to this trash. So now they try to find anything possible to make me be subscriptive to everything they can try to make me subscriptive. And so they use these retards who work for pedophiles, who are now just anybody they can to try to make me believe that they will falsify any story, anybody who they can try to create. And this is an extreme. They are trying to really play with this extreme because I don't have doubt. I know she's an adult. They know that she's an adult, and they know I will never subscribe to it. And she very much looked like an adult. I mean, like, I'm like, and they're trying to get you to be like losing your. And you hear this child like who wants you to subscribe to this. And this is why target individuals lose their mind. Because they try to gaslight you into accepting falsification of reality. It's disgusting. And so in my mind, they try to be, but remember in 2014, you followed this person. It's like, yeah, listen, I've never seen that person in person. I've never interacted with this person. And she did look like much older than her age. This person, I actually know when he saw her in person. I talked to her and I was like, and I was not like, what I'm trying to say is I had interaction with this person. I could obviously see this person is like some 20-some-year-old. And mind you, at the time, I had a roommate who was 25 years old. She looked older than my roommate. Way older. She looked like she was like 26, 27. So I'm like, I know this. I have no doubt. But they're going to try to. Because they don't have much to lead on. So now they're going to start falsifying whatever. They can't. There's been people I've been with that they want me to imagine them to be underage. It was a battle. Anything they can to try to create, even if it's falsifying and creating false narrative, they're going to do it. Because today what's happening to me is I look at a child, whatever age, from the babies to the older kids, I get false reactions. Some of them are obviously kids. Some of them can easily be like, they try, like there was this like 16-year-old child for sure. They been creating this perception manipulation. I know she was a child. They're forcing me to get perception. And so because they can do that, now they go back and say, but this GNC person who obviously like in the mid-20s, who's obviously like a grown-ass woman, who look like a grown-ass woman, who speak like a grown-ass woman, yeah, that's proof. But they falsify this. Then they make me think of this kid that in the train that was positioned like that, where they can create perception, giving her breast that she doesn't have, giving her like perceptions that she, like physique that she actually have. She looked like a typical like high school kid. but they try to still create something, and they try to compare it to this vixen who look like this hip-hop vixen looking person who's like 5'10", super, but this kid, and try to create this morphing delusional trash, man. You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong, because they are trying to erase reality, and they're using these childlike individuals who don't have self-respect. That's why I make these videos.